Welcome to another quick tip, and today we're going to talk about using activity sheets in Learner Community. In Learner Community, you're familiar with learning products and how to build a learning product. Then in your lesson structure area is where you would put in your activities. And this is a typical learning product for what we would call a SCORM or an AICC course. So we're going to take a quick look at that. And you'll see that basically I come in and I launch my course. Then I exit. And then I come back. And I didn't finish the course, so I didn't get my little check mark. Alright? So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at another way to use a learning product. So we're going to take a look at an example program that we put together, which is literally what I would call an activity sheet. All right, and if you look, you'll notice in the same way the other learning product that we looked at, it didn't have all of these sections, but if you remember, it only had one activity, which was to launch that SCORM course. So in this example, and we'll take a look at it in ungated view, and what you see is we have a number of resources and then an introduction, and those are all followed by a number of tasks, and these are all lessons. And this first activity is everything you need to do around your training documentation. And then the second activity for this group is that there's coach mentor training. Then the third activity is that you have to upload coaching hours. Fourth activity is your performance evaluation, and then the fifth activity is that you evaluate their program. So let's take a look at this on the back end. And what you'll see here is that we've set this up just like we would have any other learning product. So configuration works the same, description, same thing. But if we look at our lesson structure, we kind of looked at it a little bit differently. And so I'm going to roll this up. And so what you'll identify here is that we have a number of lessons which have all been set up to denote different activities that somebody needs to do in order to get their credential or their certificate. Alright, so the first, if we look at it, there's our resources, and then we simply created an introduction using an HTML activity. Alright, so it's just a content activity introduction to the program. That was followed by another lesson. If you remember, you come up here to add a new lesson. And then this lesson has an application form, then instructions, and you must read the instructions because you'll see that this is set up as a child. So you have to read the instructions before you can upload your application, and this is using the standard Dropbox activity. Once you've uploaded your application and it's reviewed, because we're using the Dropbox and a requirement that the application form be reviewed, so once it's been reviewed by a section leader, the student can come back in and do their coaching acknowledgement form, and then they can move on to the next section. Now what's nice is because lessons can be locked, alright, so this lesson is locked before the introduction has been completed, and the following activity lesson is locked until activity lesson 1 and 2 have been completed. You can literally create an activity sheet that manages somebody through the process of filling out this credentialing program and doing all the requirements, but within Learner Community, it looks at it just like any learning product. You can add it to the catalog just like you would a regular course, and someone can purchase it, enroll in it in the same way. So the point here is, don't think of learning products as being another term for a course. A learning product could be what we're calling here an activity sheet that includes a lot of information that somebody needs to do using any of the activity options that are available to you in the drop down here. So experiment using the idea that you're creating an activity sheet and not a course. It could be a video with a link to some documentation on the internet, with a web form that someone needs to fill out and upload, with maybe an audio file that someone needs to send for someone else to review. So you can do a lot with Learner Community when you think in terms of activity sheets.